Hello and welcome to the Chop It Up Podcast, the show that's unfiltered and unapologetic. Each episode will bring you closer to finding your purpose. And for our loyal listeners, a special surprise awaits you at the end. Be sure to listen all the way through. Now, here's your host, Karmisha Superville.
Oh my gosh. I am so excited to be back with you guys. Listen, you guys know we took a little hiatus, but we are back, baby. We are back. Happy November 1st. My goodness. Where did the year go? Can somebody tell us? Where did the year go? Listen, you guys, it's such an honor to be back with you. Y'all already know it's your girl, Karmisha Superville, host of the Chop It Up podcast. It's been a pleasure being your captain this entire year. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited just for the future of the podcast. And I want to just personally thank all our listeners. Thank you so much for supporting our podcast. Thank you so much for listening to the replays. We do it for you. And tonight is no different. I am so honored and so privileged and excited. I'm excited to speak to an incredible person that I just recently was introduced to. And I said to her, we gotta have you on the podcast. Your mission is too big. We wanna hear from you. So I'm super excited to introduce Betty Augustin. She is the founder of EdeYouth. That's Ede-Youth. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about the origin of the name and a little bit more about the organization. Betty, how are you? Welcome to Chop It Up.
Thank you, Mr. Misha. Thank you for inviting us to be here. Well, I am so excited to be here. Thank you. This is amazing. Again, my name is Betty Augustin. I am the founder of Ede-Youth. So it's Eh-day-Youth. Ede means help in Creole. And in youth, we help the young people. So Ede-Youth really took birth in Haiti from a mission trip in Leogane after 2010, after the earthquake. And during that mission, there were a lot of young ladies that had children, and there were a lot of young ladies, young men that they were not doing anything like in terms of literacy. So when I came back, I grabbed my friends from high school, from college. I said, listen, the young people in Haiti need our help. And this is where it started. Ede-Youth was birthed June 2010.
Wow, congratulations. That's amazing. And you know what? That is a good conversation that we want to have today, because I have so many people, especially young people, that want to get involved with these type of movements, right? And want to even create their own nonprofit. So, this topic we wanted to entitle it, how do you create or how do you build a successful nonprofit? And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation, because success can be measured in so many different ways, right? So many times we measure it monetarily, but I really wanted us to have a conversation about your organization, because when I got to learn about you and research your organization, I love the mission. I love the fact that it started in Haiti, as you said, right? And it has now grown, exponentially. And you are blessing so many young people here in the States. So let's talk about that. What gave you the insight, right? I know in Haiti at the time, after the earthquake, it was very tumultuous, right? But what gave you the insight to say, you know what? I want to do something for my people?
So I would have to say passion and having the willingness to help others and to serve. And I grew up with my mom teaching us we have to serve each other. I believe in God, and God asks us to serve one another. So serving one another, you see a need. A lot of the time we walk around, there's the need that is connected to you. That is the need that you have to do something. Not every need is for everyone to address. So for Ede-Youth, our mission is we answer the question, how do we raise tomorrow's leaders today? We do that through our workshops. We have 3 wonderful programs. We have mental health, which is You're Not Alone. How many of us know that there's a stigma with mental health? A lot of us are dying silently. We're not speaking up. And it may just be anxiety, stress, whatever it is, know that someone else is going through it. And sometimes it's just a conversation. And sometimes if it's extending for over a month, you may need therapy. And therapy is okay, just like having a headache, having a stomach ache, and for us to get help. So you cannot be productive if the mind is not okay. So we really, that's one of our programs that we're really focusing on, mental health. And I'll tell you a little bit of the success about it later on. The other one is entrepreneurship workshop that we have for the youth. That's all under the EYP, empowering young people. We empower them by connecting them with jobs. Youth is the one site, one of the site for SYEP. We also have and we have the entrepreneurship. We help them with resume, post interview. We do financial literacy with them. And then also we connected with one of our partners, Alexander Yes. Alexander Yes focuses on etiquette. So the CEO for that organization is Annette Ramsey, who's the owner of the Panache restaurant. So we focus on social etiquette, professional etiquette, and dining etiquette. And then we have the vacational classes. Every Thursday at this current moment, we have sewing at the Rosedale Library in Queens.
That's amazing, Betty. Wow, congratulations to you. All right, so walk us through building this nonprofit. So first it starts with passion, right? A burning desire to do more, to be more for my people, to really show up, right? How did you develop the nonprofit? Like, how did you get it founded and, you know, incorporated? Like, walk us through the step. Give us a snapshot.
So on the plane with the two young ladies I traveled with, who said we have to do something. Got off the plane, made phone calls, and I there are names that really stands out to me. I called Sony Pierre, who also now has a ARA mental health this program. I said, Sony, I went to Haiti. This is what the young people in Haiti are going through. And one of the things, Karmisha, that really stand out to me, a lot of diasporas are going to Haiti utilizing the young people for sexual favors and then giving them money. So for me, it was, wait a minute, I have to use my body to get necessity of life, to eat, to go to school. That didn't sit right with me. So I understand the value of not having food, because I grew up in Haiti and I remember there are times that where mom didn't have money. But one thing my mother did was give us a cup of water and make sure that you didn't tell anybody your business. But when she had it, we had the most expensive, the lavish food we could have. So I understand not having food for 1 day, 2 days. So for me, have something like when you're hungry, you do things that's not required of you because you want to feed yourself. So when we got here, we said we have to incorporate this organization. Called the friends, made some phone calls, we got it incorporated, and then that's what we were going for boards, getting the boards, all the boards to come in and help us. And for the first 5-7 years of the organization, it was just us funding the organization. So we funded the organization. We were helping young people. We were saving lives, and it was just amazing how you start. It's like you find a young person that's showing their head down and the shoulders are up, because you can see that the confidence is not there. So as we were growing with them, because our focus for EdeYouth, we build self-esteem, self-awareness, and self-improvement, knowing who you are, see where you are, and then learn how to improve yourself. So now you have this young person that's like this, and now it's flourishing just like a flower. See like these flowers behind you, how they open up so beautifully? That's how we look at our young people when they come all die, when they need water, they need the sun, they need the energy, and then we do that, and then you have productive leaders.
Wow. So that's amazing. So what I heard so far in terms of developing a successful nonprofit is you have to start with mission. Something has to be innate that you want to make a difference. Then you got to galvanize You got to mobilize people around you with that like-minded mindset, right? And then you got to connect that mission with the community. You got to see the need of the community. And what I like what you said, you also got to bet on yourself. You don't have to, you can't always wait for funding. You can't always wait for someone or for an entity to invest in you. You have to put up your own capital, even in a nonprofit. That is so amazing. Talk about that, because a lot of people, like, you know what's so ironic? Even as we're speaking about the success and how to build a successful nonprofit, I had a young person, no lie, Betty, I had a young person about a week ago. He reached out to me, he texted me, he was like, Karmisha, I want to start up a nonprofit. How do I go about it? I said, oh, that's a good question. Let me put you in touch with X, Y, and Z. So let me ask you, in terms of funding, because you got to have funding or capital in order to make a difference, especially if you're talking about sending money back home to Haiti or, you know, getting resources. So how, you said 7 years you funded your own mission, your own nonprofit. How was that? What was the impact, the financial impact on your personal life, so your family? And how was that? Walk us through that financial burden.
So when we first started, the board members, we put money together to incorporate. So every month we were each giving to the organization, which is one of the main requirements of board members. So every month we also sending money to Haiti for the teachers that are teaching our courses. From that, we do a lot of the fundraising. So fundraising for us was one of our challenge, because as a leader, you don't always know everything all at once. So it's a learning process. So we started fundraising just little by doing the sewing class, teaching adults. We started doing the gala. So we started again asking our friends and family members, would you donate? Would you donate? Would you donate? But you find that you cannot always go to the same people. So you have to find different ways how to bring the capital to help the young people. Again, it was going through my pocket, but which I am very much grateful, because we are alive. And then you can expect others to invest in something that you're not investing in. Correct?
Absolutely.
So with that, so this is where we are now. Now we were able to get discretionary funding, but even with discretionary funding, there's some blocking points. So discretionary funding, you should have corporate funding before that to be able to spend it in advance in order for you to get the discretionary funding. But Karmisha, I do believe that we have an amazing mission, and we have a great goal. Our goal is to have a building, to have these young ladies come in, young men come in, whoever, you know, every young people just come in, and then let us walk with you, teach you financial literacy. Financial literacy is not in school anymore. So with that, we need the funding. We will get it. I know that God is going to send it. I'm a true believer of God, and God never give you anything that He doesn't make sure that He supply for.
Absolutely. And you know what is beautiful? Something that you said there, right? In that sentence about God providing, right? You funded your own initiative, this own idea that you had for 7 years. And in the Bible, it speaks about 7 being completion. The number, the numeric number means completion. So by virtue, you are walking in that spirit. And so you will get, and you will be able to bless and get your own storefront or brick and mortar that you can bless more. So let's talk a little bit about the young people that you're working with. What's the capacity? How many young people have been able to be a part of your program throughout the years?
We have about 90 young people registered with us. Wow. We have about 50 that is active. And then for like on with going back with the different trainings, that we have minimum would have is 25 to 30.
That's amazing. That's a blessing. You know, Betty, I'm so happy we having these conversations because right now, even in this space, in this society where we are right now, kids, young people, youths,
Mhm.
right? They are being attacked. Our community, many inner cities, whether
Mhm.
it's in Haiti, whether it's in Kingston, Jamaica, whether it's whatever part of the world, kids are being attacked, young people. And you have an organization with a mission. Let's talk a little bit about that mission. What is that mission in one sentence?
We raise tomorrow's leaders today.
I love it. I love it. Raise tomorrow leaders today. That is so amazing. And that just shows that you are going to be, your name is going to ring bells and you're going to get where you have to go because you are so self-sacrificing. And that's a part of owning, right, and operating a nonprofit. So let's talk a little bit about some obstacles. Now, I know you're very optimistic, but let's talk about the obstacles that stand between you, right, and your mission. What are some of those obstacles that you like to share?
Okay, some of the obstacles I like to share is the funding. So we need to find different ways, strategies, getting the individuals that have the skill set. One of the also Black important is also choosing the right individuals to become board members, because board members have their job, they must bring values to the organization. When I first started the organization, I was driving with passion. So that's where to grow an effective organization, you need to have leadership, right? You and build leadership is something that is built daily. You have to understand that as a leader, you can make mistake, and from acknowledging our mistakes, that's where we learn to make it, make things better. So I am this passive and don't want to hurt anyone, and now have to realize it's not about anyone, it's about the young people of tomorrow. So if you're not being effective in this type of task, because everyone has a strength, right? Karmisha, you're very great with thank you for helping us with the gala and the connection that you're giving us. This is just that's you got that, but not everyone is Karmisha, right? And we don't expect everyone to be Karmisha. But for me, I had to learn, and I'm still learning leadership ability, how to get different areas and studying and taking workshops and training. So for that, it's growing the leadership passion to be able to identify the most effective board members that's going to bring more values to the organization. And I just wanted to just add, Karmisha, we would not be where we are now. It's not me. I don't want to sit here and say Betty, 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 Betty. No, it takes a village. It's the community. It's everyone. I have a young lady, Zoran. I met Zoran. I said, Zoran, this is what we're doing. Zoran would call my young people. I called Zoran. I said, one of my youth just called. He's in school and he's thinking about suicide. Zoran was on top of it, made phone calls already. I have beautiful and wonderful, not only board members that are in with us, but the community. So Ede-Youth is in existence now because of all the community, because of Annette, because of Nadine, because of you, Karmisha. You even invited us to your summit, a successful summit you have. So I do believe in the Caribbean when it says it takes a village to raise a child. So it takes a village to raise these children. And I'm not doing this alone. If I sit on this podcast and say it's me, 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 God would not like that, because not only God is helping, but all the communities helping, and we welcome everyone to come and assist us because we need mentorship.
Yeah,
And
that is beautiful. That's beautiful. And that is a good segue into how do you galvanize, how do you mobilize a team? And before I even ask, and before we even go there, I want to say it's an honor to meet you. I want to say it's a pleasure working alongside you and learning about your organization. Anything that you do from your heart, people are going to see it. And that's another asset as to building a successful nonprofit, right? You have to build community. You have to build ecosystems of people that see your worth and see the mission. Because, like you said, if you are gone, right, the mission still should be able to proceed. And so that's beautiful that you are able to say, it's not me, it's a village, it's a community, it's an ecosystem. So let's talk about that. How do you get people involved? How do you mobilize and get support for what you're doing and what the organization and the goals, the strategic goals for the organization? How do you get people involved?
I'll have a conversation, just like I had a conversation with you, Ms. Karmisha. So I have a conversation with others and I tell them my story. You know, every one of us has, you know, has a story. So I tell them, why do I do what I do? Where the passion came from? And then they say, oh, tell me more. Let's have tea. So I use an example, Annette. So when I met Annette Ramsey, who's with Alexander, yes, she's doing etiquette. She's like, wait a minute, you have etiquette in your mission. I said, I said to her, I personally did not learn how to use my utensils until I went to a wedding with my ex-boyfriend. And I said, at that moment, I was embarrassed because I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't eating. He was like, you're not eating. So I'm trying. And here he is trying to help me cut while I have another 8 people on the table watching me. I said, I don't want another young person to go through that. So with that being said, I spoke to Annette and she was like, you know what? Why don't we work together and do that? It's just connecting with parents. Some of the parents, I would tell them what we do. And then they would just like, listen, and we need help. I have a parent that's just called me, I need help. I'm a single mom. I'm not home. We don't have a dad in the house. My children lacking that father role. Some of them are depressed. Some of them are anxiety. I need your help. And this is where it starts. Just a conversation. It's simple as a conversation. Mm-hmm. And we just, and then when we have event, we let anyone know, hey, this is what we're doing. And opportunities like this, being on your podcast, you know, whoever is listening, and if there's a passion to help young people, come on. But we are very selective because you have to love young people. Yes. And to work with young people, you have to have patience. And the young people we have now is not the young people we had in the past.
No, they're
the
not.
Young people now are like technology. They know things more than you and I. Like they can even teach us. So as we're teaching them, we're learning from them too. So Karmisha, one of my main goals is to decrease the number of inmates of Black and Brown brothers and sisters. My husband works for Rikers Island. When I learned that 80 grand for each inmate.
I learned that this week. Oh my gosh, I learned that this week. Betty, I remember your last sentence. When I went to what was it, like a community meeting, and I learned by one of the individuals speaking to me, he said that each inmate is worth 80 grand. So we are worth more to the state in prison than outside.
That's correct.
I was like so phantom. I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. So yes, please continue.
So we as Ede Youth and all of our partners, we have Bridging the Gap for the Youth that also focus on the financial literacy. And Karmisha, I know I'm looking forward to working with you next year. We have to have a different strategy to teach our young people, educate them, you know, because a lot of them, there's trauma, right? Whether it's absence of mom, whether it's learned behavior that's tickling down with a generation that's in circle. How do we as a community, how do we as leaders break that? We need the mental health because trauma there's coping skills, you know, there's for learning what type of trauma you're dealing with. How do we deal with that and help eliminate and bring down this number of our inmates, this number of our young people? it always amazes me when I speak to these young people. They are intelligent. But
Yes.
sometimes when you see them in the street, they look like they're tough. They put in that face. But all the ones that are showing you that they're most tough, they have that face. When you hug them, they melt less than like, it's like a teddy bear. So a lot of these young people are looking for love, attention, acknowledgement. And it's not that difficult to teach them. Once you can earn their trust, that's what you have. So I have people that come to us directly. People refer people to us. We donate food at the shelter every week. Donation from Eh-day-Youth organization and Panache Restaurant. The one right here on Springfield Boulevard. Parents see that we're coming in and out. They ask, how can I join? How can I help?
That's amazing. Wow, that's beautiful. So you have a fabulous event coming up. But it's not only fabulous, it's very focused on, like you said, the programs, right? The success, the effectiveness of the program. Let's talk about that. The 8th annual Youth Empowerment Black Tie Affair. That's coming up very, very soon. Let's talk a little bit about that. And congrats on the 8th annual. How did it start? You're welcome. As you look back from the 1st to the 8th, what can you see? How have your organization grown? Your partnership with the organization, which is Ede-Youth. Let's talk a little bit about that. How did that partnership come about? And how do you feel about celebrating the 8th annual?
The 8th annual is wonderful, but the 8th annual is merged with Ede-Youth and Panache. So Panache started their own gala first 1 to 8. So we had our separate one, but having an 8th, that's all Ede-Youth and Panache. Once we merged in 2 years ago, so we're like, okay, so we're doing our gala together. We don't have to do it separate. Let's, as we're stronger together, right? So I always use the analogy of our hands, right? We have 5 fingers. 2 fingers can now pick up a cup. So when you have all fingers on board, we are able to lift at a lighter, there's no struggle. So you lift it even easier. So with connecting with Annette, being able to do this together is amazing because we have wonderful people. So we just won. Like I'm not saying, oh, Ede Youth. I use the word we. We have wonderful individuals that supported the organization. So this gala is really to say thank you. People work with you, people give to you. But a lot of the time, how many of us feel like we work at a job and you do? Just a 2-letter word that is so impactful and powerful, you don't hear it often. Yeah. And this is what this gala is about, to not only celebrate our success, which I'm going to tell you soon, but is really to thank our supporters, our therapists, AIA, Sony, like everyone that's been with us, our partners. We have amazing partners. Anytime I can pick up the phone and they're there. Wow. And during COVID, we saved 5 lives from suicidal ideation. So for me, being 5 people on earth are in existence because we as a community work together to make that happen. So for me, that's one of our main success story. Again, I go back to Yana. I am a product of therapy. I grew up in foster care. I was aged out of foster care at the age of 21. I went through my circle of verbal abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. But all of these abuse, I didn't understand it as a young person. I wish there was an Ede-Youth then to help me process, to help me understand my past is not my future. My past do not determine who I am. My past prepares me for what I'm doing. Because you cannot do a job without training. Every position, everyone that get hired at a job, there's always that 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of training. For me, God had to train me, help me understand, this is what I'm going to allow you to go through, because he said, I will never leave you or forsake you. So for that, even though I was going through that, he was still watching me. And to now, who can better understand a young person who's in foster care? I can, because I've been there. So for saying that, having the foster care social workers helping, coming on board with us as partnership. You know, all the partnership we have, let me tell you, every one of them, whether it's someone that cleaned the floor for us, someone that washed the dishes, someone that take the youth, the mentor, every partnership to us is, in our eyes, is very the same level. You're very high. And this is what we're doing with the gala. We're thinking each and every person. Even you, Karmisha, we met you not too long ago and we told you what you were doing. You just come on board, and then, you know, you practically doing this thing for us for free. Thank you. You know, thank you for being an amazing sponsor.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, we love to sponsor initiatives such as that. The Chop It Up podcast was birthed out of COVID as well. You know, when we began, you know, speaking to different professionals in our community, such as yourself, we wanted to have a voice. We wanted to speak to people that we know that is moving the needles, that we know that's making an impact on others. And this was in 2020, and now we're in 2022. To see the growth of this podcast, to speak to people like yourself that are saving lives. You just said you saved 5 lives, right? Like, that's not easy, and that's not you. So I know you don't want to take the credit. That's the Spirit, that's the Holy Ghost, that's God moving within you and your people around you that has encamped around you to save 5 souls. 5 souls. You know, Betty, it's such a beautiful thing to talk to you, because even in this space, my heart has been heavy this week. And I'll tell you why my heart has been heavy. I don't know if you know, but this young man, he was a part of the very successful, uber successful rap trio, right? Which is called the Migos. And if you have you heard the news about that? The young man take off from the Migos?
No.
A rap group. Yeah, a lot of folks I've been speaking to, you know, those who are not really on social, they're like, no, I haven't heard that news. But nonetheless, he was killed. He was at a private event with his other bandmate, and it was a private event with about 40 people that they perhaps knew. Everybody would have had to know each other to be at this event. And an argument ensued, right? An argument, as they say in the hood, popped off, right? And as the argument popped off and it probably was escalating, gunplay started happening. People pull out gun and shooting recklessly. And this young man that didn't have anything to do with this nonsense got shot in the crossfire. These kids, he was 28. So many Black boys and Black girls are not living to see their golden, not even living past 40 or 35. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our kids don't even understand how to effectively resolve conflict. I see that on a daily basis, just even on a micro level. I see so many times arguments that are trivial escalate and people lose their lives. I was even speaking to another brother recently, you know, because I'm always outside, always listening to different events and going to different events. And one of this brother told me that when he was 16, he killed someone. And he didn't mean to. He was just in the heat of the moment, the anger, you know, and of course he went to prison for a very long time. And he's very sad now as he's an older man, because he was like, yo, had I known what I know today, and this is why I want to teach your youth a different way, because there's so many other ways to resolve conflict. And here you are, I'm saying all that to say here you have an amazing organization that you thought about right? That came from pain. Because I remember the earthquake in Haiti. I remember the lives that lost, right? And have, you have this mission to help others and to save souls. And you're working and you saved 5 people that was contemplating ending their lives. And so, and then you have a program where you're teaching kids, soft youths, you're teaching them soft skills, right? Financial literacy, like a holistic approach. And that is so beautiful, Betty. And I just want you to know, whichever way, whatever happens, continue to stay focused, because you are blessing lives and you are touching people you don't even know yet. You don't even know, you know? And it's a beautiful thing. And it's an honor to work with you. That's why I'm going hard, and I want to see you succeed. And I want to, get people involved with your organization and the movement. And let's talk about that. How can people support you? What are some ways in terms of funding that they can support you? I know we have the gala. The gala is November
13.
November 13. Yeah. What's the location? Give us the details.
It's going to be at the One Way Cafe right here in Queens, on the 13th from 4 to 9. It's an amazing place. Please come out. And how you can support, you can visit our website, www.Eh-day-Youth.org. And that is spelled EdeYouth.org. And you'll find the link there to get tickets. You'll find different ways how to donate. And not only donate, we're also looking for mentorship. And then in a different way, we can read about us, learn more about us, and see how you can get involved. Thank you. I wanted to add real quick, Karmisha, about the situation. I heard it, but I didn't know it was from that group. But we have to really teach our young people about character, who they are. Because there's this book I read from John Maxwell, the 21 influential laws of leadership. Mm-hmm. Because we are all born leaders, but we have to access the leadership in us, right? So once we teach these young people how to be leaders, they know who they are. They know, they have knowledge of what they know. They have intuition and understand the feeling that they're going through, and have the ability of what they can do. So then you feel like you're worth it, because a lot of the time is that triggers that just on a minute and it block them. But once you build self-esteem, self-awareness, and self-improvement, that's the goal, for us to not have young people killing young people.
Senselessly, not even no real beef, not no real issues, just senselessly. And there's so many crimes that's happening daily, where you look on the news and it's 15-year-olds, 16 young boys. And yet, it's just, my heart just breaks. But my heart is hopeful because there are organizations such as yours. Betty Augustin, thank you so much for being and joining us today on the Chop It Up podcast. You all, I hope you can get involved, support this amazing organization. You heard what she said and how you can support. Visit the website. We're going to provide all the information. All right. Make sure you come out to the Black Tie Affair. That's a youth awards that's happening November 13, 2022. Yes, at 4 to 9 p.m. Come out, meet some of the young people. You're going to get giveaways. Dinner is going to be an amazing opportunity to really connect and support a great cause and really get involved. Betty, thank you so much for joining us. Any final words as we close off this amazing conversation?
Yes, thank you so much, Karmisha, for allowing us to be part of this, your beautiful podcast. Thank you for being the woman that you are, and thank you for, wanting to work with us. And all our listeners, please help us build leaders of tomorrow today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this episode. Actually, Betty, we didn't even answer the question. I think we did throughout the conversation, but how to effectively build a successful nonprofit? What is one word? What would you say? One word.
Know your leadership strength as a
Yeah.
as a CEO. And if it's not up to par, get help. Go to
Absolutely.
counseling, read, know your leadership strength, and love
Absolutely.
people. Love people.
That's it. That's what I was going to say. That's
Mhm.
what I was going to say. You got to have heart. You got to have heart. So wherever you're listening to this podcast, whatever you're planning, whatever seeds that you're planning, know that you have to have heart. You have to have passion. You have to understand that it's not about the money. If you build it right, the money will come if you build it right. So on that note, again, thank y'all so much for joining us on this amazing podcast and this amazing conversation. Make sure you like and support Ede Youth. We're going to provide all the information, you guys. Betty, I will see you on Sunday, November 13th in my black tie. I'm going to be looking snatch. Okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Listen.
Can't wait to have you.
Thank you, my love. All the best to you. Thank you.